The next thing that we covered was the multiplication strategy, skip counting on a number line. We'd already done some skip counting, so this was kind of easy for the kids. The weirdest part was putting it onto a number line and actually using it. Something that I have learned over the years teaching third grade, at this point, they have not constructed many number lines, so that may be a little bit of an issue for them, but we did talk our way through this, and I'll tell you how we did that. So you can kind of recall that for them as they do the number lines themselves. We got ourselves a multiplication word problem here to work with. And so Caleb was making balls of yarn for his cat. He needed 3 of those, and he wanted to use 6 feet of yarn for each ball. And so the first step that we were going to do is create a number line. Now, how I told the students to do this was go ahead and draw out their line, and then we marked the 0 place on one end, because we always start with 0 at this point, and we marked 20 on the other end. And then I told them to kind of hunt for the center. I may be a little off on mine there, but to kind of hunt for the center, mark the center with what would be halfway between 0 and 20, which would be 10. Then we looked at 0 to 10. We marked halfway between 0 and 10 as 5. And after we did that, we looked from 10 to 20 and marked halfway between 10 and 20 to be 15. Then we just filled in our numbers beyond that. That way they kind of get accustomed. That's the quickest way for them to build a number line. They should know their 5s without any problems as far as being able to count by that. So they should be able to quickly pick out what comes between those two numbers, two larger numbers. So that's how we created our number line. After we create our number line, then we have to determine what number will be the number of jumps we take and what number will be how far our jumps will go. So in this case, we know he wants 3 balls of yarn. So since he needs 3 of something, we would make that our jumps. And then depending on how long he needs them would tell us how long our jumps would be. And so since he's going to use, this kind of gave it away, the feet in this one, sometimes we won't be that lucky. But if we know that the other number is the number of things we need, we can automatically assume that possibly the other number is how much we're going to need of each thing. So we picked out that feet was a length at least, and so that would help us with the length of our jump right here. Oh, sorry. Okay, and so we move on to step 3 at that point where we've created our number line and we're going to make our jumps to find our answer, matching the multiplication sentence, and then write a matching multiplication sentence to go with it. So we'll start our jumps at 0. And if we're going to make 3 jumps at 6 each, we would count. Now, we don't count 0 because that's where we're beginning, is what I had to remind the students. We start at the next number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to land on 6. So we start at 0, we jump to 6. And I always tell them to put a dot where they're stopping so that they know, hey, that's the end of one jump. We even talked about placing a number in our little jump area to tell us we'd done one jump. From there, we decide that we need to jump again because we've only done 1 and we're supposed to have 3 jumps. So starting here, this is our landing spot. We're going to start with the next number and count on 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will land on 12. So we jump from 6 to 12. That's our second jump. And then finally, we'll count on 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And jump from 12 to 18. At that point, we know we've got 3 jumps. So we put down a 3 first. Times the number in each jump, how far we jumped each time, which would be 6. And finally, we get our product here of 18, which is where we landed last. Okay. This one, kind of straightforward. I know the homework they had all of the, excuse me, all of the number lines were pre-drawn for them. And I will try to do that as much as I can, but they do need to start learning how to construct a number line. So anytime we do number lines, you may want to make sure they can construct one, because that is something they may see on the ACT Aspire in the spring, where they actually have to do the construction so that it's all their work. So I would like for them to start working on that. And I do ask them to do that in class. And we made several of these on their desk when we were practicing the day we did this. So we will continue to construct number lines, and I ask that you do that at home with them as well. If any of this tripped your child up, or they missed it this day or whatever, and you need some additional help with it, just drop me a line and I'll be glad to do that. And again, I will cover this. We'll go back over it quickly before we take our test. Thank you.